A young boy was lying back in a chair, resting, when suddenly a slender hand reached through the peephole on the door. A long, jet-black arm silently slithered into the room. At first, the arm was curled like a hook, then it slowly unfurled. Its hand crept toward the boy, who remained blissfully unaware, lost in a dream, completely oblivious to the danger closing in. The eerie hand opened again, and one of its fingernails began to grow in a strange, unnatural way, as if it had a life of its own. It extended toward the boy's cheek, inching closer and closer. But just before touching his skin, the fingernail seemed to hit some kind of limit. After several failed attempts, it finally retracted in frustration. Outside the door, the mysterious creature grew agitated by its failure. It pushed the door open and crept silently toward the still sleeping boy. Just as the threat loomed once more, the boy suddenly yanked a hidden lever. In a flash, an iron cage dropped from the ceiling, trapping the creature inside. It turned out the boy, Jeff, had been faking sleep to lure the monster into a carefully laid trap. Clever and resourceful, Jeff was preparing to study the creature he'd just captured. But before he could begin, a desperate, frightened voice called out from outside the window. It was his younger brother, Weber. Alarmed, Jeff immediately dropped what he was doing and ran toward the sound. What he saw left him stunned. Weber was kneeling beside their father, Cage, his face full of grief and helplessness. The night before, they had been attacked by a monster in the darkness. Cage had been seriously injured while protecting Weber. The boys, frantic and heartbroken, carefully lifted their wounded father and hurried him home. Back at the house, Jeff noticed the captured monster. When Weber saw it, his eyes filled with rage and fear. He wanted to kill it immediately, but Jeff tried to stop him. In the struggle between them, the cage was accidentally opened. Fortunately, the monster was afraid of sunlight and didn't attack, it instead scurried and hid beneath the bed. Tense and on edge, the boys grabbed weapons and pointed them toward the bed, too afraid to move. Just then, their loyal dog leapt into action, rushing in to protect them. Startled by the threat, the monster sprang out from under the bed. But since it was daytime, its speed and strength were weakened. Jeff quickly stepped on the creature, pinning it to the ground. Weber seized the moment, picked up an axe, and struck the monster down, killing it once and for all. The act ended Jeff's hopes of studying the creature, but both brothers knew their priority now was getting help and saving Cage's life. Though not their biological father, Cage had raised them with unconditional love. They remembered how, 16 years ago, mutant creatures had suddenly appeared on Earth. Anyone bitten by one would become infected and eventually turn into a monster. In response, the military launched extreme operations, sacrificing innocent lives to wipe the monsters out. Cage was one of the lucky ones. He survived the bombardment and escaped the city, beginning a life of exile in the wilderness. It was there, in an abandoned house, that he discovered two abandoned infants, Jeff and Weber. From that moment on, the three of them became a family, surviving together in a dangerous, post-apocalyptic world. Now, with Cage gravely injured, Weber decided to travel to a farm on the far side of the forest to find medicine that might save his life. But when Weber had killed the caged monster earlier, its blood splattered on him, leaving behind a faint, undetectable scent. That scent acted like a beacon. A lurking monster picked up the trail and silently followed Weber, eventually sneaking deep into the farm of the farm owners. A couple heard something strange and were just about to investigate when the creature struck. It lunged at the farmer, knocking him to the ground and tearing into him with its massive jaws in a brutal, frenzied attack.